What's up, everybody? Couch Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about some developer insights into ranked, why you double rank up when it happens, how does MMR work, and what can you do to climb more consistently. There's a lot we got to talk about and break down, but right now, the Game Leap website's your only ticket to climb incredibly quickly. Tips, tricks, guides over every map and agent. If you want to level up incredibly fast, do yourself a favor and go check it out right now down below. Now, Riot senior competitive designer Evermore oftentimes just posts little rank facts on Twitter, giving us some insight into how the rank system works. So we're gonna read the Ranked Fact Friday he just posted and talk about it because it gives us some really interesting insight. Quote, double rank ups come from your rank being out of the range of your MMR. The highest MMR range you can have is 3 ranks, so you will guarantee to get a double rank up if you're ever 4 ranks away from your MMR. So this means that if you're playing in a Smurf on a new account, or maybe you're just playing regularly after the reset and the system detects that your MMR or your hidden MMR, which you don't know, is actually 4 ranks ahead of where you are, that is what will cause those double rank ups. And I really actually think that that's interesting. That's pretty far away, honestly. I don't think that that would happen all that much unless you're Smurfing, but it could happen if, for whatever reason, you're top fragging like non-stop, dropping 30s and 30s and 30s over and over and over again, and then you can't win. You have like impossible to carry teams. If it happened too much to the point where you were 4 ranks away, eventually, when you get that rank up, you might double rank up. It's possible to happen. I didn't think it was possible to happen unless you actually were Smurfing, but it is, and that's really interesting. So, you know, if you're constantly popping off, constantly fragging, eventually you will get your rank back. It will give it to you back, and it might not give it to you in small chunks. It might just double rank you up right away, which is actually pretty cool. Now, he also goes on to specify, quote, MMR range is how you can perform in a good game versus a bad game. As you play more, your MMR range can shrink, but does not grow past 3 ranks. Good luck out there in the new episode. Effectively, what this means is that the MMR range sometimes puts you in different MMR and assumes you're going to perform one way or another. You're going to perform really, really good or really, really bad. And maybe if the MMR it's putting you in is slightly above what you're normally put in and you still overperform, it's going to give you even more rank rating and your MMR is going to get pushed even further, which can eventually give you more ranked gains and have you rank up faster. So that is like the way in which the system tests you and says, hey, are you deserving of the next rank up? Are you actually better than the people around you? And it will do this often, but the more you play, the tighter this little barrier shrinks, and it doesn't really think that you're gonna move all that much past there because it has more data to confirm that this is actually where you belong, and you're gonna have much smaller changes from here rather than maybe the system doesn't quite know how good you are yet, so it has a much wider range because it's still trying to detect where you truly belong. Another person asked a question, is there a way to see their MMR or nah? And Evilmore said, quote, nope, our old system was based on it and we got a lot of negative feedback. MMR is hard to conceptualize without understanding how the math works, so in one game you may top frag and go +5 MMR, and in another game you could bottom frag and go +30. So this is just confirmation that not only are you being challenged against different types of opponents at different MMRs, and the system is not necessarily expecting you to play a certain way every single time, but there are other factors into consideration. How many rounds both teams got, what roles you're playing, how many assists you have, how you played over the course of the game, what's the difference between your frags and maybe the lowest person frags on your team? Is it really close? I mean, you could have MVP'd, but maybe it wasn't by that much. There's just so many different things that they don't really want to show MMR because then it would have a huge disconnect in, you know, you bottom fragging. Like he said, you could literally bottom frag and then gain MMR because maybe you bottom fragged, but you did good enough against people that they assume were way better than you MMR-wise that it actually improved your MMR. So over the course of the long haul, you're actually going to benefit where you're going to gain slightly more rank rating than you lose because your MMR is actually higher. You just don't get to see that number because the system is very complex and complicated. It's not as straightforward as just wins and losses. And he also goes on to talk about the fact that there's a hybrid rank system because he doesn't want there to be a pure MMR system in that players might be incentivized to play in a certain way to improve their MMR, rather than playing for the win. So right now, winning the game flat out will get you a certain amount of MMR, but then there's other factors behind the scenes. So you're still heavily incentivized to win. You're always incentivized to win, and they don't want to disconnect it from that, because imagine if your MMR was something completely separate, so you could just go seek out kills, lurk, and just try to get a whole bunch of frags and just bait your team, and then you could climb, or you would never lose any freaking rank. That would just be super dumb, so that's why it's a hybrid system in place. Now, the last thing that he talks about is about placements, and there was a ton of people just throwing their placements just to get them over with, which you definitely shouldn't do, but he goes on to specify here, saying, quote, "Placements do impact your MMR, they are important, but we made steps over a couple of episodes to make them less swingy. They are still part of the season's soft reset though, and do have an impact." So don't freaking throw your games, don't throw your placements, play them out, of course. Most of you have already placed them, but it is important to understand that every single time there's placements, it can affect your MMR, which ultimately will reflect in your rank or the people that you're playing against or where you'll end up after you actually place. So it's important to try, but he's making it less swingy, so it's less likely for you to end up a dramatically different rank than before, apart from the people that were probably in Immortal, low Immortal and Diamond because of the freaking Ascendant rank, but that's just like a completely separate instance. Has nothing to do with just this question, but it is important to think about. And the last thing that I saw, someone actually asked for, how about double demotes? And that's actually kind of just a funny idea. I mean, you know, if it's 4 difference to get a double rank up, if it becomes 4 different, they should get a double demote, right? I mean, that would probably just feel so messed up. Imagine being down bad and you just like can't win, and for whatever reason you're just playing really bad and then you double D rank. I'm never touching the game again. But definitely let me know what you think about all this information. I think it's interesting, and yeah, I love your faces, and I'll see you next time. Faces.